We have a beautiful lunation coming up April 12th, 13, 2025, wherever you are in the world. Depends on where you are, what day you're going to get it. But it is a Libra full moon, and there's so much cool stuff. I was looking at the chart, lots of different layers of planetary action. And this is the first full moon after the eclipse portal. What does it mean? Why are you still talking about the eclipse portal, Lindsay? Just because it just was an opening and a closing to a bigger story. And this is part of the story. The first lunation after an eclipse portal ends, it shines a light on those things that we've been through. What have we gone through in the last month or so? And it adds to this, I don't know, a settling of the energy, especially with this being the Aries and Libra axis. It just gives us a little extra bonus there. The Libra themes, what are we talking about here? Well, Libra is about relational dynamics. It's that part of our life, wherever it falls for you in your chart, where you want some sort of balance, where you want some fairness, when you want peace and tranquility. That's our Libra section. We all have it somewhere in our chart. So wherever this full moon lands for you, that's going to be turning that on. The search for balance isn't a static idea. It's an ongoing thing. It's in flux. It's in motion, especially in these times where something is really getting pointed at. And the things that you might be thinking about around this period is relational. It's balancing those relationships that we have with the I am versus the we are. Venus is the leader. Venus is the ruler of this moon, and it's stationing direct on this very same day. Wow. This has been a big deal because Venus has been going retrograde, going through Aries, which, isn't her best place to Venus because, she's in detriment there and she's belongs in Libra. And then as she moves backwards and makes all these contacts, she goes into her place of exaltation, into Pisces, and that is a huge energy for her. For this full moon, though, there's something interesting happening. She's conjoining with Saturn. They're almost conjunct. It brings some stability. It brings some seriousness to this full moon in a way. I'll explain more in a second. But what it really does is puts these two together, Venus and Saturn, which actually have a lot of sympathetic feelings for each other. They're actually pretty good partners, especially when we're talking about Libra. Venus is the ruler of Libra. Saturn's the exaltation ruler of Libra, which means it's top dog. When it goes into Libra, it's functioning at the best version of Saturn we can possibly get. Yeah, interesting, huh? In a Venus-ruled sign. It means that Saturn brings balance, stability to that desire, the Libra desire to bring some sort of equilibrium into our lives. So Saturn and Venus together, Venus in her exaltation. Venus is also making a really nice contact to Mars and Uranus. Mars, first of all, is the ruler of Aries. Aries is where the sun is, and it's been going through Cancer in its retrograde cycle since the end of 2024. Remember, it doesn't happen very often, happens once every 2 years, and having it go backwards in the sign of its fall, there's been a lot of tender feelings, a lot of lashing out, I don't know, a lot more action in that area of our life that is sensitive. As it's making a trine to Venus here, that's a really nice energetic. It's very supportive. It's very sweet. Both of them are in water signs, and that creates a really nice flow for those two together. On top of that, both Mars and Venus are getting a sextile at the same time to Uranus. So that is creating something in astrology called a minor grand trine. Kind of paradox there, isn't it? But it's like a little triangle. It's when two planets trine and another one sextiles both of them. It's supportive, it's a nice configuration, it's cooperation, it's intuitive timing. And when we think about that earthiness that Uranus brings, I feel like this adds to the beauty of maybe going out and doing something that you're not expecting that you're going to want to do out in the world. Very Taurus-like. Taurus is the five senses. It's our sensual experiences in general. Uranus there can bring some unexpected shift in the tone, but in a good way. I brought out my Ren Butler book so we can give it a look, what these planets all together mean. Ren Butler does a great job putting three planetary energies together, but we're going to have to add another one because Saturn is in on this mix when it's conjunct with Venus. So Venus, Mars, and Uranus together. A flashing, sparkling charisma, social enthusiasm and vigor, a love of dynamic music and dance, a desire for romantic thrills and excitement, sexual and relationship breakthroughs. Now let's add Saturn because that brings a little bit more of a dignity and stability to it. A commitment to romantic and sexual integrity. So this isn't really about going out and just being wild and doing these wild dances. There's some integrity here in the romance, tempered love, and desire. Steady working partnerships, a gift for dynamic craftsmanship. Mars is going direct. On this day, Venus is stationing direct. Earlier in the week, Mercury stations direct. So we have a lot of momentum moving forward, and especially with Mars in Cancer, that, yeah, it's still in its detriment, but it's at the end of its cycle in that retrograde. Mars has learned its lesson. It's ready to move on from that area, and it's more empowered as it's going towards Leo. The other thing that's happening in this lunation is the sun is in a conjunction with Chiron, which is a Chiron Kazemi, identity level awareness maxed out. We're getting that sunshine on the Chiron wound, and we're facing it with our emotions. It's very, very nice, I think, for healing. We're healing, especially if we're thinking about this lunation being a reflection of last month and all the things that were going on in the eclipse portal. If you've had revelations or experiences, big things happening. The Libra full moon with the sun, it's going to add the relational context to the Chiron wound. I brought out my Chiron book as well. I have this book by Martin Lass. It's just called Chiron, Healing Body and Soul. If you have a deep Chiron story in your chart, this is quite a good book. So I wanted to read to you from Chiron and the signs. Chiron in Aries, it's been there for a while. It's at 23 degrees, so it's definitely, the last third of its trip through Aries. But generally, anywhere the Chiron is landing natally in our chart, that's a personal wound that we deal with. Now, transiting Chiron is a collective wound, but it also activates whatever house it's in. That's our Aries section where we have courage, bravery. We don't need to know the whole story before we move forward, but that's also tricky because you have to have strength in yourself to feel confident. You have to be able to muster up the power to do those things. And that's the Aries wound that comes in and says, are you brave enough? Are you going to be able to do this? Do you really not need to know everything before you step and move? Like Aries doesn't need to know the whole plan or the whole story or even what's around the bend to go. So when we have this Chiron wound moving through here, here's what it means. Chiron in Aries, a core feeling of worthlessness, unworthiness, even undeservingness in life itself. Self-denial, a feeling of not being wanted, needed, or useful. A feeling of being uncentered, unfocused, or lacking solidity. It's really a search for the self. Now, the gift is what's beautiful. The gift of Chiron in Aries is a discovery, the acknowledgement, the embracing, and loving of our special, unique, divine design, the realization of indestructibility of spirit, despite the transience of form, the acknowledgement of the divine inside of us. This is our true presence. This is true self-love, a positive spin on the ego, and the ability to remain firmly but gently in our own space. The more I learn about Chiron, the more I understand what the deal is. The deal for Chiron is an alchemy process. It's to take something that's naturally there that we have to express, we have to experience, which is a woundedness, which is a difficulty. And when you achieve mastery, maybe potentially mastery, hopefully mastery over the feelings behind it, we still have the wound, it's still there, but it's become a teacher for us. And we can alchemize the lead into gold. And we can use that to help other people, help ourselves move forward. So this is really a beautiful moment with the sun in conjunction with the Chiron in Aries as the moon lights it up in this illumination moment, bringing us back to that eclipse portal, things we've learned. And then in the meantime, we got Venus and Mars chilling together with a nice trine. That's enjoyable. Bringing in the Uranian energy of, ooh, that's interesting. That's different. Also happening this week, we have Mercury stationing direct on the 7th of April. Yes, I'm so excited. I've had having the worst trouble with my technology. This thing drives me nuts. My camera was being really bad. I just had to order another one. It was a new little camera too, but it kept going in and out of, and so all the video that I made before for you, it's just, I could not post that because it drove me nuts, made me feel like I was in a strobe light. And I would not do that to you. So anyways, hopefully after that we have no complaints about technology. And the North Node is what's going to get a conjunction with Mercury on the 11th, which happens just before this lunation. What's good about that? Well, it's the third stop. Mercury has met with the North Node already twice, and it's direct motion and retrograde motion, and then now it'll go again to a conjunction before it leaves and goes into Aries. The first pass we get is this initiating event. It's like, oh. And with Mercury being our mind, our communication, the North Node being where we're going with our evolutionary stuff as a collective, there's something that we're beginning to understand. And then the second time around, it comes to another conjunction, and that's the apex point, the climax, where something really happens. And you're like, oh, kind of an aha moment. And then the third time is clarification. It's a resolution. It's like, oh, okay, this is what it's been like. You have some lesson that you've learned. You're taking something with you. It's that closure of the experience. So that's happening. The combination there is not going to bring us linear answers because Mercury is not in domicile. It's in fall, it's in exile, etc., etc. Mercury doubles up in Pisces. And it's just not that it's bad or anything, because Mercury in Pisces is poetic and it's beautiful and it's sweet. The thing that Mercury is really good at is being fast and getting stuff done. So when it goes to Pisces, it's just kind of like, I don't have to work so dang hard all the time. If you think about how it's moving through water, moving through plasma, moving through an Oort cloud, I don't know, it's just different in Pisces. Whereas in Gemini, it's moving through the air. Mercury moves really fast through the air. Mercury and Virgo can get stuff done in the material world, can clarify all the details, distill, move quickly. This full moon has a lot going on. There's some emotional integration. There's the reflection of the eclipse season. Venus stations direct, Mercury stations direct. All these things have been going on. This Cazimi with that big old beautiful Chiron wound that we all have right now. It adds a layer around to our identity, the pain that goes unspoken, but maybe it's starting to go away. You know, the sun is a big old dose of vitamin D. It's leveling up Chiron to be a little bit more empowered and not just wounded. Mercury and the North Node, they bring us towards what's going to happen next. It's aligning our mind with that evolutionary concept. The North Node in Pisces, Neptune has just left, so there's a big space there. It's like rebooting the computer, maybe getting a new hard drive. It's, something is moved out, so something new can come in. I'm ready for something new. So the mood of this full moon in Libra is very reflective. It's steady, it's clarifying, it's stimulating, it's sensual, it's balancing, it's healing. Sounds like a pretty good time to me. The outer world is going to keep going on. There's always stuff that's happening, and that's all okay. That's all okay. It's all going to be okay. I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Libra. I like you just the way you are, and I will talk to you soon.